everyone, it's Abby and Patriot here, and today we're going to be showing you some really fun ornaments and techniques that will really improve your playing. So I did a tutorial on this a few months back, but I want to give you a more updated version, so let's get started. Okay, so the first three techniques are all techniques that we can use to break a note. So let's say you want to play two notes that you see you're supposed to play A 3 times in a row. And rather than completely stopping your breath to break that note, these are 3 methods that make the breaking of a note really smooth and simple. So the first one is called tonguing, and that sounds like this. And all it is let's say we're playing an A, we're going to be breathing into the instrument, playing that A, and then we're going to touch our tongue to the roof of our mouth, which will break the note. It's just like we're saying the word to. And you say toot into the whistle while you're playing, and it will break the note. So, and that's used in stuff like, so it's really useful and gives things a very staccato-y, bouncy, fun feel. So that's tonguing. That's a really great method to break a note. So next we have tapping. Now tapping is super duper simple. All it is we're going to use A as our example again, is when you're playing a note, the very bottom finger, so in this case it's the second finger here, you're going to bounce it off the instrument for a split second and then put it back on. So it's coming off the hole and back on really quick. So it sounds like this. And that interrupts the A and makes a break in the note, if you will. And it's the same on any note. If I were playing an E, I would do this very bottom finger. Whatever the bottom finger is, you just bounce it off really quick and put it back down. And a fun variation of this is you can just kind of bounce. So even if there's not supposed to be a break there, you can go like, bounce that note a little bit, and so that is tapping. So now we have cutting. Now cutting is basically the opposite of tapping. So what it is if we're playing, let's say, there's kind of a pattern to it, so I'm going to explain that. You can use whatever pattern you like, but this is a simple one that I find easy. So it sounds like this. And it's used in a lot of Native American flute playing. And what it is it's like tapping, where you're taking a finger off for a split second and putting it back on, but rather it's not the lowest note you're playing, the lowest finger. It's a high one above that. So for example, if I'm playing a G, I'll bounce this very top finger off and put it back on. So the pattern I use for this is on the lower 3 notes, the D, the E, and the F sharp. I use my G finger, this one right here, to bounce. So that sounds like, and then if it's the 3 upper fingers, I use the very top finger. So, and that just gives your breaking of a note a little bit of a different feel to it. Okay, so next we're going to be looking at sliding. So sliding is one of my all-time favorites, and it sounds like this. So you're taking time to go from one note to the next. So you're bending the note. So how we do it is, let's say we're doing an A. Our fingers are naturally curled a little bit around the whistle to get the holes fully covered. So when we slide a note, we want to slowly let a little bit of air out of the hole, the lower hole, and if we're going up, we're going to slowly let more and more air out until our finger comes completely up. So our fingers slightly curled around like this, and then we're going to slowly straighten the finger. And what that does, the straighter the finger gets, the more air escapes from this hole until you fully pull your finger off, and the more air that's escaping, the higher the pitch gets, and then you're at the B. So listen. And you can do the same thing going down. It's just instead of slowly taking your finger off, you're slowly putting your finger on. So, like that. And this is really fun in like blues kind of stuff, and any genre, it's really, really, really awesome to play. So another thing you can do to make this effect a little bit more dramatic is play with your air pressure. So when you're blowing, if you're playing, let's say, a G, when you heighten it, when you blow harder, we get a high G. But you can also play with your air pressure within just one note without going to the higher octave. So if I'm playing my A, I can play really, really soft on that A. I can blow gently and still have an A, and I can up my pressure a little bit and get a louder A that the pitch is slightly higher than the softer A. So for example, versus, and what this does is when we're sliding a note, if we start out blowing really soft on the, when we're going up, we're playing really soft on the A, and then as we slowly take our finger off, we also heighten our pressure, which makes the slide more dramatic. So listen. And the opposite is also true. So we start out blowing hard on the B, and then slowly drop our pressure so we're blowing softer the more our finger gets around the whistle. And that just gives it a little bit more flair to it. And then another fun technique is running. So it's, you take your fingers off one at a time. So let's say I want to run up the scale. I'm going to start, let's say we're on an E, and I want to get to a B. Okay, so start with all the fingers on for the E, and then slowly take one off, well, very quickly, but for the example, you're going to take one finger off at a time going up the scale. So we're going to go E, F sharp, G, A, B, but it's so quick you can't hardly tell. So it gives it this fun running effect, if you will, and the same applies for going down. So those are some of my favorite techniques, and I guarantee you if you practice these and get them down, it will dramatically improve your playing. And make sure to stay tuned and drop a comment below if you have any questions about these techniques, or if you have a request for another tutorial. Patriot and I post little whistle tutorials on a regular basis, so make sure to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Then, as well as that, we can also do, and so as well as running, we also have, yeah, what else do we have, Patriot? I don't remember. Oh, I had another technique I wanted to teach.